Hey everyone, it's Lyndon here. Welcome to my modded Mini. I've just got back from a massive run up to Mount Baw with some mates today. So I wanted to get the video done about my dash, and let's go through it now. First dash, built out of camphor wood that Dad and I had cut down on a friend's property. A couple of cheap gauges in there, a cassette, and I was on my way. This one was my car audio build. A couple of pairs of speakers in the front, all auto meter Procom gauges, built out of fiberglass with a vinyl cover over the top. These are the gauges that didn't quite meet the cut for the latest build, and that's where the digital dash came in. This is the current one. Everything was sound deadened as best as I could. Moved around a fair bit with work, so I still wanted to have a demister on both sides. I didn't have the left-hand one, so a quick trip out to see Matt the Miniman at Murray in Brisbane, and I picked this one up. A few modifications, built an alloy flange around it, some heat-proof silicone, and it was good to go. I started off building this out of cardboard and then built the aluminium template from that. I wanted it to be removable so I could maintain the bits and pieces behind it, which I couldn't do on the last one. It wasn't very efficient. So this one here, I used these little pieces of aluminium angle, riveted those to the dash because I knew that they'll be covered in vinyl, and then filed them out so that these plastic clips could fit in there. And that way I could screw the dash to the Mini. I had the box for the Weber, so that meant that the head unit had to sit forward a little bit. That's what the brackets there are for. I needed the screens to sit side by side, and I had to do a fair bit of massaging to make sure that it was going to blend, even though they were slightly different sizes. I started to fab up the actual mount for the two screens out of MDF, so a cardboard mount first, then this is the MDF version of it. Just put that on the router table to make sure the edges were all smooth. Once you've got this part of the frame set up, as you can see in these photos, the next thing I did was used an old t-shirt out of my rag bag, stretched that over the top of it, stapled it on, a light coat of fiberglass resin, and then a couple of coats of chopped strand mat after that. A bit of carbog on there to get it so it was nice and smooth, and then obviously starting this spaghetti bird's nest of wiring when you put a digital dash into a classic car as well as the car audio setup. So I wanted to make sure that this was right, so it was maintainable. You can see the mock-ups for the switches that I wanted in there. I was particular about the actual switches that I wanted. This was the first time where I had the dash. You can see it down in the bottom right, PowerTune Digital. Had it wired in, so make sure it was ready to go. After a few more test fits, I covered it with the Alcantara, screwed it all in, and then just continued to do the wiring. You can see on the wiring here, I've strapped everything up with tape and foam to eliminate any rattles. Those bare wires in there are covered. They were for the windscreen washer, which I hadn't wired in yet. And then this is starting to get to the final product here. The pod that sits at the front, I was going to cover in the Alcantara fabric as well, in either the black or the red with contrasting stitching, but it was going to be too difficult to get that done with a home sewing machine. So what I ended up doing was painting it gloss black in the same 2-pack as the rest of the features on the car. It did make it a little bit extra work because now you're painting something so it's not covered with foam and fabric. That's a bit of a down and dirty on how I built my dash. If you've got any specific questions that you want to ask, just throw them in the comments below, and I can do a couple of other build videos. The next one that I'm going to do will be about our either drive up to Mount Baw that we've just done, or I'll do the actual electronics part of the dash. Cheers.